So Jimmy, I guess we'll start where anybody does at the beginning, and take us through what your experience was, kind of being discovered by the Moose, and then joining that team.
Well, before I came to the Moose, I was playing with the old national team, and we had played some exhibition games in Winnipeg against the Moose when they first came in that first year. And it was my understanding that's where Randy Carlyle and Mark Chipman first seen me play, and then joined the Moose the following year for 1 year to see how it would go, and then ended up staying for a long time.
And you stayed for a long time. You had that stability. And what was that like? Because in the AHL, IHL, that isn't necessarily the norm. Guys tend to move around. So you had the opportunity to play over 600 games with the Moose. So what was it like having that stability?
I think it was pretty important. It was more important as I got older, for sure. Once you start a family and you have kids and everything like that, it gets more important. But on my early on years, it was, close to home. I'm from Northern Ontario in Sioux Lookout, and close to my family. I lived with my brother for the first few years in Winnipeg as I was playing hockey. I knew people within the city. I got to know more people within the city. So it became like, being from Sioux Lookout, it became my home, Winnipeg, Manitoba.
And you played as the organization kind of grew and matured and moved into a new building, and then kind of became the extra NHL franchise, as it were. So what was it like seeing the organization make that progression from a player's perspective?
It was a learning experience, something new as a young player coming from, we were in the International Hockey League, was what it was called the first few years, where it was a lot older players. I played with guys like Scott Arniel, Brian Chapman, Brett Hauer. There were so many good players that kind of came through there as older guys, and then we kind of went into the American Hockey League, which was a younger version, and got, we were affiliated with Vancouver for a while, and that was pretty neat too, to be friends with guys like Pat Cavanaugh and Ryan Reddy and younger guys that I'm still friends with to this day. So that was pretty cool.
And for yourself, I mean, with that storied career and becoming kind of a key member of the franchise, the last time we celebrated an anniversary, the 20th season, you saw your number go up in the rafters. What did it mean to you to kind of be one of those pillars of the organization and to see that number go up?
It was really cool. I still get emotional thinking about it because not necessarily for me, but for my family. For my mom and dad and my brother and my wife and my kids, to kind of see that and see the look on their face and see how proud they were. That was what was really cool.
And now you get an opportunity to kind of work with some of those younger players and see how the league has changed kind of through their eyes and things like that. So what's that experience like for you to see these young players come into the American Hockey League and kind of start their professional journeys?
You know what? It's interesting. I was just talking to a player over there about it who, was playing junior last year. The level of pro hockey is just different. It's different than college, different than junior, European pro. The American Hockey League is a big learning curve to get to the National Hockey League, and understanding what that daily lifestyle, that daily routine of the amount of work that's going to have to go into everything you do, the details and stuff like that. You don't realize it when you're in junior or in college. You just think, I'll take that next step, but to try and prepare kids for that opportunity, so that when they do get that opportunity in the National Hockey League, they are prepared for it. I think that's what's really important.
And I maybe got a little ahead of myself in the timeline there, but obviously your career takes you away from the Moose in the late stages of your career, but you return to the organization, albeit with the Winnipeg Jets. You're still very involved with the Moose. So what brought you back to the organization and made that a choice that you saw, this is where I kind of belong?
Excuse me. I think that was another awesome transition for myself. I was friends with Craig Heisinger and Mark Chipman when this kind of came about, and got to become pretty good friends with Kevin Cheveldayoff, who's GM, and understanding what he wanted with young players and how the development role could kind of take over. But I think it's important to note, over the years from when the Moose started to where they are now, the culture that's been set by these people from early on to where we are now, and what a hockey community the fans have set, and everything like that. So that makes it pretty exciting to come back to too.
And then as you look back on your career with the Moose and with the Jets as well, I mean, how has your time with that team kind of molded you and shaped your future?
You know what? There's a big transition from when you're done playing to coming to this side of the game and understanding how to communicate with players on a different level, more maybe on a coaching level than a buddy level as you're playing with them, and it's helped me understand kind of what I need to do to progress in hockey and help young men make that transition as a mentor, as a coach, and help them understand everything that we just talked about before.
And when you see this team celebrating 25 seasons in Winnipeg, and you have people that have been involved with it since day one, and whether it's Mark Chipman and Craig Heisinger and folks in the office, like, what is it like to see those people that have kind of carried through all this way and see them kind of reach that achievement, those milestones?
Like, those guys are friends for life, you know. They're more like family than friends, people like that. And the people that we have in the office, not only in hockey ops, but in ticket sales, and people that we've had around for a long time that and still live in the city and maybe moved on. Those friendships are really important. I think they do mold your character. They mold you as a person. You know, your loyalty, your trust, everything that this kind of organization represents, and that's pretty neat.